The ancient bell of St. Peter's Basilica was silent. For days it had been a symbol of suspense, of a world waiting. Inside the Vatican, sequestered from the modern bustle of Rome, a process older than most nations was unfolding. The conclave to elect a new pope. The Sistine Chapel, the heart of the conclave, was a place of profound silence, broken only by the soft rustle of cassocks and the occasional whispered prayer. The air was thick with the scent of old wood, wax, and incense. Above the 119 cardinal electors, Michelangelo's magnificent fresco of the Last Judgment loomed, a silent, powerful reminder of the gravity of their task. They were not just choosing an administrator. They were seeking a spiritual father for over 1 billion souls. Each cardinal sat at a small wooden desk, upon which lay a ballot, a rectangular piece of paper inscribed with the words, "Eligo in summum pontificem," I elect as supreme pontiff. The task was simple yet immense. Write one name. The master of papal liturgical celebrations, along with 3 randomly chosen scrutineers and 3 revisers, began the meticulous ritual of counting. One by one, each cardinal approached the altar, held up his folded ballot for all to see, and solemnly placed it into a large chalice, swearing an oath. I call as my witness Christ the Lord, who will be my judge, that my vote is given to the one who before God I think should be elected. When the last ballot was cast, the scrutineers began their work. They shook the chalice to mix the votes, then carefully counted them, threading each ballot onto a needle with a thread, a literal thread of decision. They unfolded each one, recorded the name in silence, and read it aloud. The tension was palpable, no one spoke. Eyes were fixed on the scrutineers. For a candidate to be elected, he must receive 2/3 of the votes plus 1. The first ballot yielded no clear winner. The ballots, along with the notes from the scrutineers, were gathered and taken to a small stove in a corner of the chapel. With a chemical additive, they were burned, sending black smoke, fumata nera, billowing from the temporary chimney erected on the chapel's roof. A groan of disappointment rippled through the massive crowd gathered in St. Peter's Square. The world had to wait. Back inside, the cardinals retired for prayer, reflection, and quiet, informal discussion. There were no campaigns, no debates. The conversation was one of discernment. Who has the pastoral heart, the strength of faith, the humility to bear the name of Peter? A second ballot was held, and a third. Each time the black smoke rose, but on the 4th ballot something shifted. As the scrutineer read the names, one began to recur with striking frequency. A quiet, scholarly man from Argentina, known for his deep compassion for the poor and his simple, unpretentious lifestyle. He had sat through the entire process with his head bowed, perhaps praying that the burden would not fall to him. The final vote was counted. The senior cardinal deacon, his hand trembling slightly, double-checked the tally. He looked up, meeting the eyes of the man in question who had gone pale. He then nodded to the other scrutineers. It was done. The ballots were carried to the stove. This time, no chemical was added. The pure white paper burned, and white smoke, fumata bianca, curled into the Roman sky. The silence in the square was instantly shattered by a roar of jubilation. Bells across Rome began to peal, a joyous, thunderous cascade led by the great bell of St. Peter's itself, finally breaking its days of silence. Inside the chapel, the senior cardinal approached the elected man. "Do you accept your canonical election as Supreme Pontiff?" he asked in Latin. A long, heavy pause filled the chapel. The man looked at the faces of his brothers, seeing in them not just colleagues, but a flock seeking a shepherd. He took a deep, steadying breath. "I accept," he whispered, his voice hoarse. "By what name do you wish to be called?" He thought of St. Francis of Assisi, the saint of poverty, humility, and renewal. "I will be called Francis," he said. The doors of the Sistine Chapel were finally unlocked. The new pope was helped into the white cassock. The proto-deacon walked out onto the central loggia of St. Peter's Basilica, the balcony the world was watching. The crowd fell silent once more, a hush of breathless anticipation. "Annuntio vobis gaudium magnum," he proclaimed to the tens of thousands below. "I announce to you a great joy. Habemus Papam. We have a pope." He announced the name of the cardinal and the new name he had chosen.
Francisco!
The square erupted, and a moment later the man himself, Pope Francis, stepped out onto the balcony. He stood for a moment, silent, overwhelmed by the sea of humanity. He did not raise his arms in triumph, but simply smiled, a gentle, welcoming smile. Before offering his blessing to the world, he did something unheard of. He bowed his head and asked the people to pray for him. In that simple, humble gesture, the new papacy had begun.